Hello and a very warm welcome to the Insider Essay, your guide to living better. Join us today as we open up to living in full color, proud of our imperfections. Miss Soweto Ludina in Gwenya wears her scars with style. Autistic artist Clayton Buettas turns his wonder world into a blossoming business. It's gorgeous to go natural, says TikTok's hairy eco-fairy, and her 1.5 million followers agree. Baker and Miss SA finalist Catherine says it with cake. Pigcasso, the four-trotted painting sensation, raises millions for animal welfare. Rwanda's Nyambo Masamara tells his story in vivid fashion. And South African sculptor Lungelo Gumede captures his proudest moments in wax. Two of Gen Z's most colorful, self-confident South African creatives are TikTok star Kelsey Maggott, aka the hairy eco-fairy, and her friend Catherine. Online bakery owner, podcaster, and Miss SA Top 10 finalist. Like Kelsey, who has earned 1.5 million followers on TikTok, her friend is fast becoming a media sensation for her baking.
My name is Catherine. I'm a 2021 Miss South Africa Top 10 finalist, and I have my own online bakery. I entered Miss South Africa 3 times. So the first time I made the top 30, which was quite surprising because I hadn't really prepared. The second time I didn't make it at all. And then last year I made the top 10. It was amazing to make it, and I was the first redhead in the top 10 in the history of Miss South Africa, so it was good. I have been baking since I was a very young girl. I used to love spending time in the kitchen with my mum. And in lockdown, I think everyone started baking, and I picked up a piping bag and I just started trying it, and I fell in love with it, and I haven't looked back. So this cake uses oil, flour, sugar, vanilla essence, baking powder, salt, and water, which I find quite interesting. And what I love about it is that it doesn't use butter. Butter's gotten very expensive, so that makes me very happy. When I am in the kitchen, I am in my happy place, and I show love to my friends by baking cakes and by feeding them. So today, I'm making a vanilla cake, and I'm icing it with 4 of my favorite colors, and I'm taking it to see my friends later to have a slice of cake with them, and I'm so excited.
Catherine always wanted to work in photography and television, but after countless rejections, it's her baking that got her a foot in the door.
This is a cake I did earlier. I have crumb coated it, which basically means lock all those crumbs in so they don't get all over the place. And I put it in the fridge just so it's hard, and it makes it a lot easier to pipe.
As a model and Miss SA finalist, she believes in being confidently beautiful. No add-ons or filters, which is what Kelsey is all about.
I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised in Cape Town. I am a social media creator, and I go by the hairy eco-fairy. So I'm really passionate about body normativity and slow living. So personal to me, it's been specifically focusing on my body hair journey, and on social media with women specifically that embrace their body hair. There's a lot of shaming and violence against women who choose to embrace their natural bodies, whether that's body hair, embracing scars, cellulite, fat, bones. So for me, kind of normalizing my body with my body hair is something that's personal to me and something that I could really relate to and speak about because I have a lived experience of it.
Hello, welcome.
Catherine.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Come sit down. I'm gonna help me inspire me here.
I see we matching, me and the cake.
I know, I didn't even plan that. Do you know that? How amazing. Okay, so I think basically now I'm just gonna fill in all the gaps.
Okay.
And the yellow, you know, I never usually pick yellow, but I actually kind of like the brightness.
I like it. What inspired the look?
I've been spending a lot of time on Pinterest.
Okay.
And it's kind of a really trendy cake on Pinterest at the moment. And I picked my favorite colors, which is pink, purple, and turquoise, and I decided to throw in yellow because it's summertime. So it makes it nice and bright. And it's done.
Gorgeous. We have to film a TikTok with it, please.
Let's do it.
While this cake maker keeps the kilos off by being a fitness instructor, both she and Kelsey are all for loving your own body and who you are.
So how I was inspired by seeing other women kind of embrace their bodies, I would hope that my followers on TikTok would be inspired to do the same, to just be who they are, accept that their bodies are not perfect and that they're normal. Self-confidence to me means being comfortable. So being comfortable in your skin, being comfortable with who you are and being able to express that. So with dancing, I go into kind of a different headspace and I'm able to be really sassy and kind of let loose, and also being able to embrace my body hair in those moments is something that is really liberating for me, and people also really enjoy it on TikTok. So that's been really cool.
Central to the message of this eco-fairy is another cause, sustainability. And the thrifting approach to fashion has been an eye-opener for her 1.5 million followers.
I was first introduced into thrifting and kind of slow fashion when I started at the University of Cape Town, because it's so close to Observatory. So when I came to Lower Main Road, I saw all of these thrift stores and they looked so funky and cool. So when I went inside, I just fell in love with how unique and different all the pieces were. What I love about slow fashion, and particularly thrifting, is I'm able to kind of heal my relationship with clothing, where I'm not just over-consuming things that are of a low quality. Where thrifting comes in, I'm able to give pieces a longer life and also keep the garments out of landfills, because that's what happens when people don't use clothes anymore and there's too much of them. They go and sit in landfills.
So now that we've got all these things in our hands, I want to know from the profession herself, what makes up a good thrifted outfit? What elements are great for a thrifted outfit?
I would say personal style is everything. So whatever jumps out to you, take it and try it on. I feel like style is political, as opposed to being told what is in fashion and what we should wear, kind of reclaiming what you like, what brings you joy. That's the best outfit.
That's good advice. That's really good advice. I agree.
It's best to let imagination be your guide.
I'm definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm really enjoying it. I think that's a really good place to be. And I'm struggling to find things that work with my personal style, but that's what's so exciting about it. I'm challenging myself to find things that I wouldn't usually pick, and Kelsey's definitely helping.
I chose this yellow shirt. I love that it's a bright pop of color, and I love that I can kind of rework it however I want according to the outfit that I'm wearing. But tell me about what you got. I love this look.
I actually really love this. What a find. It's an oversized denim jacket, and I have an oversized bomber, so I'm a happy woman today.
I'm glad.
Kelsey campaigns for causes she believes in by keeping her content entertaining.
So hairy eco-fairy kind of sums up what I'm passionate about. So the hairy part is obviously me and my body hair journey, but then the eco-fairy part is just how I try and live my life, is taking into account the impact that I have on the environment, on others and on animals. Where slow fashion comes in, I'm able to be a conscious consumer with the buying power that I do have.
Essential to how these two young women back themselves in what they do is having friends like Mbali Mtembu and Tatiana Martins.
Friendship is something that makes up a lot of my life. I love socializing. I'm always out and about, and I've had the same friends since I was in junior school, and I can trust them with my life. And I think what's most important is that they're there when I need them, and I can be myself around them. And that's all you need in a friend, I think.
Catherine's cake is absolutely incredible. It's stunning. You can see she's literally thrown everything into it. It's wild, it's crazy, it's got personality just like her. I mean, colorful, quirky. It literally is a representation of Catherine as a person.
The world isn't short of influencers posting pictures of their lunch. What Kelsey has chosen is far more challenging subject matter.
Kelsey has a lot of great qualities. I think her best are that she's very loving, she's caring, and that extends beyond with just people, but she loves and cares about the environment, animals, and she's very genuine. What you see is what you get. There's no surprises, And yeah, she's very secure in herself, confident.
My mom's always told me the quote, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So that's what I'm drawing from. I definitely want to work in a field that I'm passionate about and that I love. And I feel like if I push, I can do it with social media.
I think self-confidence is something that it's a lifelong journey. You can't just become self-confident overnight. But I think it's something that every day you work on a tiny bit, and every day you'll feel that difference. And I think one thing that I always remember is that there's only one of me, and that's my power. And I think being unique and being proud of your uniqueness will shine through at the end of the day, and that's what's most important.
To Catherine and Kelsey, it's as important to put down your phone, look up, get out, live life in full color and in the moment. Coming up, designer Masamara and artist Lungelo Gumede sing in a language of color, pattern and sculpture. The art and design scene of Cape Town is worlds away from the reality that Nyambo Masamara was born into in 90s Rwanda. Since arriving here aged 12, he's gone on to become a groundbreaking fashion designer and artist, expressing his stories in vivid pattern and color.
Hi Inside SA, welcome to Masamara. Follow me, let me show you where everything happens. I was born in Rwanda and grew up in different sides of Africa, now based here in Cape Town. And Masamara means something from nothing. The reason why we named the brand Masamara, it was the fact that the brand started literally from nothing, not formal knowledge, educations, and everything comes from a will and passion. That's how Masamara started.
As well as his outfits, his brilliant patterns and prints are his own signature designs.
Fashion gave me a voice that I didn't have. You know, growing up in a place where I grew up, when I became a fashion designer, you know, I tapped into the power that I felt like it was really important for me to share this with the world and people who grew up in the places that I grew up, who didn't have the opportunity to have this voice. And I felt it was very important for me to give them the feelings and experience of what I've experienced.
A hallmark of his origins, his hairstyle reflects the horns of Rwanda's royal cows.
I left Rwanda when I was 12. Traveled through different countries in Africa on my way to South Africa. During that journey and process, you know, I felt that to be able to travel at such age, you needed courage. One had to be, you know, a brave one. You know, when I got a voice in fashion, and I felt it was very important for me to make Masamara uniform for the brave ones.
While first employed in finance, fashion was his calling, and after weekends spent as a tailor's apprentice, he made his move.
My process starts with the end result. You know, I think of the end, you know, what I want the project to look like. Then I'll start just randomly walking in the city. From there, what I gather, I put on the sketches. From there, start doing the fabric, you know, the colors, digitizing everything that I've put it down. And we start, you know, garment constructions. When I'm in my studio sketching, it's always very spiritual. You know, it's a very emotion always, you know. It's the time, you know, this space allows me to tap into the inner that, you know, most people don't see or don't know, because all my work comes from a place of the experience, you know. So this is a space where I take everything in and allow it to recycle the energy, you know, and share it to the world.
As his fashion career took off, lockdown grounded him, but it only turned him in a new direction as an artist.
The art started without me realizing or knowing that I was doing art. From my storytelling, I've always wanted to expand the story. Of course, the story grows as you go. Without realizing, I started building the sculptures, anything, imageries that could help me to tell the better story. So the sculptures comes from everything that I found around, you know. It's just all found objects, in a sculpted object that I found close. And then from those guides me to build. In the end, turns into the magic, you know, sculptures. Once I've done putting the structures of the sculptures, then I'll look into my offcuts. Everything that I've done, I have left over of the fabric. I'll start recutting the fabric and then again construct a new story or new fabric on the sculptures. My current body of work is called Beyond Borders, and it's being showcased at Deepest Darkest Gallery. My art and fashion is quite similar. They are aligned with story and colors. It was a way for me to elaborate on African storytelling and, from the African eyes perspective, African child's, sight, this is where the fashion and art, comes in handy for me, to broaden the canvas. This body of work is inspired by the traveling spirit, traversing between space and time, carrying the information from the past, to present and preparing for the future.
Nyambo's debut exhibit has been welcomed as resoundingly as his fashion was just over 2 years ago. A vivid, confident, original voice, just when we needed one. No force has shaped the planet quite like water, and expressing himself as powerfully as the Indian Ocean he grew up with, Durban artist Lungelo Gumede is having an impact on African sculpture felt far beyond our shores.
Hi, the Insider SA. My name is Lungelo Gumede. I'm an artist based in Durban. Welcome to my studio. What inspired me to come here to the Best Center and start art is the guy called Mandlakasa, who actually saw my talent while I was in Claremont. I was just a boy who was just drawing, because I used to draw people from my neighborhood, charging them a sketch about 10 Rand, sometimes 15 Rand, sometimes 20 Rand, just to get money for airtime. And then he took me here to the Best Center. That's where I started realizing that what I was doing was art. The love of art has grown rapidly ever since I started art at DUT, because even today I don't see myself doing anything else but art, and I love what I'm doing very much.
His work is owned by world-famous entertainers, athletes, and has earned him an honorary doctorate in arts and wax sculpting.
I'm a visual artist, and I do portrait paintings, and I also do statues. Right now, I major in sculpture. So far, I haven't met anyone or seen anyone in the country who's actually doing what I'm doing, the work statues, because even at the tertiary levels, they don't teach this kind of art that I'm doing right now. I had to go to New York to actually study or to know how to do the work statues at the Madame Tussauds in New York.
He puts his skills to work in bringing to full, colourful life figures like Lillian Ngoyi, who led the 1956 Women's March Against the Pass Laws.
What we have here, we have the clay head of Mam Lillian Ngoyi, which is like half finished for now. I've been working on it for the past 3 days. So I used this clay. This is the clay that I used to actually mold the head. And I was using this image as a reference. So from now, I will make a mold out of this clay head. These are the tools that I've been using, all these different tools that I use to actually get all the details and everything. Then I make a mold. When I make a mold, I use a two-piece mold like this one. The mold is made up of material 1. Then from there, I cast it in wax. I paint it using acrylic paint. Then I modified it, installed the hair and put eyelashes and everything. Then from there, I make the body, which takes me about a week to make a body. Then I assemble the body with the hands and everything, and I put the clothes. That whole process takes me about 2 to 3 weeks. What motivates me to do these struggler icons, it's because of the rich history that we have in South Africa, and also to preserve the history, because I mean, these people, they fought for our struggle, they fought for our freedom, you know, so it's very important to preserve the history and to actually immortalize them, so that even the next generation that is coming, they will read and learn about the things that they did.
Lungelo's team visit high schools, train DUT students, and he's even made a sculptor of his brother.
I get so much support from my family members, especially from my brother, who inspires me a lot, because every time when I'm doing the statues, he comes and helps me. He's an artist himself, but he's a musician artist, you know. But he comes here and helps me. I've taught him how to do some of the things like casting, you know, and my sisters as well. They support me. If I have exhibition, they come and support me. You know, my late mother used to come to my exhibition. Even if I'm going overseas, they support me, you know, so they very supportive. This is a portrait painting that I did of Mr. Kati and Mrs. Kati. He's a DJ, famous DJ in Durban. And then here I have, these are the bust, bronze bust. I was portraying Ubabu Utube, Lana Ubabu Josiah Gumede, and then this is also Pigcasso. And then this side, the wax statues. To name the few, I have done, like you can see, Bishop T.D. Jakes. This side here, I also did Michael Jackson, who is one of the world respected pop icon artists. Next to him, we have Prince Harry, who is also from the royal family in England.
Top of the artists list is the moment Bafana captain Neil Tovey and Madiba lifted the African Cup of Nations.
Speaking of my favorite statue, I would say this one. Reason why, it was very challenging at the same time, because as you can see, Neil Tovey is holding a cup and the balance and everything, you know. So next to him is Madiba, celebrating, holding his hands up. So this is like one of my favorite statues by far.
Wax shrinks, so his figures are made 2% larger than the actual celebrities. As for hair, each strand has to be inserted individually, and the end result is compelling.
Here in the hospital, I have a statue of King Dinuzulu that is displayed here. It was inspired by the changing of the name of the hospital from King George Hospital to King Dinuzulu Hospital. My future plan as Lungelo Gumede is to complete as many wax statues as possible for the Wax Museum, which I'm planning to start anytime soon, where we will allow people, general public, to come and view the statues. Thank you guys for joining me in my studio today. Hope to see everyone else in my museum, which will be opening in the near future.
May Lungelo's hands-on, can-do spirit be an inspiration to all. Right after this, straight from the hog's mouth, Pigcasso's masterpieces make a world of difference to animal welfare. South Africa has come to know the work of Joanne Lefson in promoting animal welfare across the globe. Her latest, most colourful collaboration is with a painting pig whose abstract expressionist masterpieces have raised 3 million rand, allowing her fellow shelter animals to live high on the hog.
My name is Joanne Lefson. I'm founder director of Farm Sanctuary SA, the inspiring non-profit organisation here in the wonderful region of Franschhoek, just outside of Cape Town. We have a lot of rescued farm animals here, and our very famous one is the one and only painting swine, Pigcasso. Here she is, and she's about to come out and show us exactly how she does her magic.
After traveling 43 countries to highlight the plight of rescue dogs, Joanne now campaigns from here.
I've designed a very simple barn. A builder came, built the barn. It was way too big. I think he got the plans wrong, and I thought this actually needs to be a bigger concept now, and let's make it a non-profit organization. Let's rescue as many farm animals as we can. Let's invite the public to come, and let's inspire a more compassionate kind of world for everyone. How did I meet Pigcasso? Back in 2016, the barn was built and it was time to rescue some farm animals. So I went to a local hog farm, not a nice place, and there were thousands of piglets running around, and basically I had to grab one. So I slid all over the floor and was trying to catch a little piglet and managed to catch one, and this was a piglet that would become Pigcasso. Brought her to the barn, and pigs being very smart, intelligent animals, I wanted to keep her entertained. So threw in some soccer balls, a tennis ball, I think, and there were some brushes left from the building of the barn. And it was interesting. Pigcasso literally ate and destroyed everything that I gave her except these brushes. And I thought this was amazing. Like, why is she so gentle and loving with these brushes? And I thought, well, maybe there's something in this. And having a creative background and being interested in art, I thought, well, maybe, I can get her to paint. And it didn't take long teaching her the basics of picking up a brush and making specialized brushes for her. It didn't take long before she was willing and able and very excited to actually go up towards a canvas and to paint across it. And of course, the rest is history.
When Pigcasso painted a design for the face of a famed Swiss watch brand, the range sold out around the world in just hours.
The process of painting is definitely a collaboration. Pigcasso is definitely the artist. She's the only one that paints on the actual canvas. But of course, someone has to set it up for her. Someone has to select the colors, which I do. Pigs see colors very differently. They only see half the spectrum that humans do. So I select the colors. She willingly, on her own accord, comes to the canvas and she paints. And when she's finished the painting, I dip her nose tip in some black ink, and then she walks up to the canvas and touches it and signs the artwork. And that makes it a completed original Pigcasso.
Since Joanne graduated in zoology, she has partnered with several animal ambassadors to get the public thinking of our fellow creatures in a new light.
There's a very serious mission behind Pigcasso painting. We are a non-profit sanctuary, and it's really to inspire compassion for farm animals. So it's really just a way for people to look at Pigcasso, look at the amazing artwork, and reconnect with a living farm animal, and hopefully look at their food differently, and certainly never eat bacon again.
The paints used for Pigcasso's artwork are child-friendly and vegan, which is most important to collectors who buy her work.
Well, the average Pigcasso sells for anywhere between 20,000 and 80,000 Rand, I would say is average. We had a very special one that sold at the end of 2021. It was called Wild and Free. It sold for 400,000 Rand. And of course, the proceeds benefit Farm Sanctuary SA. So it just means that we can do more rescue operations here. We can sustain the sanctuary indefinitely. And it was just very exciting. She was like, when we went and told her, Pigcasso, your painting sold, she kind of just looked at us and was like, whatever. She has no ego at all. What is life for Pigcasso here at Farm Sanctuary SA? Well, it's definitely hog heaven. In fact, it's hog heaven for all the rescue farm animals here. It's not a massive farm. I would say it's about 4 to 5 hectares, so it's a boutique sanctuary. They have amazing food. They have incredible vet care. We have an incredible, small, dynamic team that look after these farm animals, and of course, they love animals, so they have the best care. It's a very humble place. It's a very authentic place, and it's just all about these animals having a great life and a life filled with human love, compassion, and empathy. Pigcasso is obviously the most famous farm animal here, but the favorite is actually a big, fat cow called Baloo. And Baloo was the first cow rescued for the sanctuary. He loves people. Despite his size, he's a big charmer. He's really just a crowd pleaser, and actually, don't tell Pigcasso, but probably my favorite around here as well.
As part of the sanctuary's mission to connect the public with farm animals, it offers tours, wine tastings, and unique barn accommodation.
So this is an amazing loft apartment. Definitely one of the most original and unique nights you will ever spend here. Something very, very different. It's also a very personal space for me. Probably my favorite part of the room is if you lie on the bed, you can look out of this amazing glass facade and see this incredible amphitheater of mountains that surround this region. And also the staircase leading up to the barn, I acquired in India. Also, the patron of the sanctuary is Mahatma Gandhi's great-granddaughter. So a lot of personal special touches, and at the end of the day, it's just spending a night here at the barn, listening and being surrounded by the sounds of these farm animals is just probably one of the most unique, most incredible nights you will ever spend on the planet in your lifetime.
A sleepover in the company of the animals reveals that for the star herself, it's the simple things that make life worth the living. Decent food, good company, and a place to call home.
This is Picasso's bedroom. This is very fancy for a pig. Lots and lots of hair, and a picture, of course, of herself above her bed, and her friends, her chickens, the goats, and her fellow pig friends can come and visit her anytime she wants. Piccasso has a growing list of achievements. Well, first of all, in 2018, she was the very first non-human to host her very own art exhibition. That was in the waterfront in Cape Town. So what does Piccasso do in her downtime? Well, Piccasso loves to eat, sleep, and paint. And I would say she sleeps for about 23 hours a day, half of it in a mud bath, half of it in her stunning bedroom. She eats. Whenever she gets food, she loves her food, she'll eat. And then, of course, she loves to paint in the mornings.
She is never forced to paint, which means that getting her artwork produced takes time, is not guaranteed, but is always a labor of love.
What is next for myself and Piccasso? Well, this year's going to be amazing. We have an exhibition in Germany, in Hanmunden, for 3 months during this European summer. We'll be launching the NFT range in April, which a lot of excitement around that. First time ever that an animal is going to be doing a NFT. We also have another exhibition in Amsterdam at the end of August, I believe. And very exciting, she's going to launch her own book. Yes, I wrote it, but it's about her life, and that comes out in 2023. And what's fantastic is Dr. Jane Goodall did the foreword of the book. So that's a great endorsement for Piccasso as well. That's what we know about. Of course, Piccasso is still the boss. As long as she's willing and able to paint, the world is her oyster.
And gone forever is the idea of casting pearls before swine. Pigcasso's flair for self-expression is opening minds, winning hearts, and improving animal lives wherever it's shown. Just ahead, Miss Soweto Ludina Gwenya sports her scars with pride and looks a front runner for Miss South Africa. How Ludina Gwenya went from bullied schoolgirl to Miss Soweto was sparked by the question, are you a model? One which family, friends and strangers asked her for years, until the day she tried modeling, found her power and made Tebogo Sechiro the proudest grandmother in town.
Winning the title has been such a life-changing opportunity. I had so many plans that I wanted to do, and winning it just made it easier for me. I was able to do things that I would probably have done later in life way more sooner than what I would have done, and I am absolutely grateful for such an opportunity.
Soweto's finest gets her purpose and focus from her mother and grandmother, who keep her firmly on track to higher education.
Ludina was such a humble child all the time. And she was shy, but she was so good with people, especially other children. And I was so surprised because she entered the pageant, and I never thought she would do that because she never likes to put herself in, the things that girls do. She was always serious, and she wouldn't even watch TV. Instead, she'd take the books and read.
My grandmother is such a wonderful person. She has always told me to keep focus at school. She loves that part the most. And also, she's so encouraging, so supportive. She's always there for me, and such a God-fearing person. My family has always taught me that your circumstances do not define you, and that you can always rise above them, and that you can be anything that you want to be. I remember when I was young, even up until today, school is still such an important thing in the family. I'm always encouraged to go to school, to study, and to finish my degree, of which I'm so excited for. I mean, I'm doing a B.Ed in education and foundation phase, to be more specific.
Ludina credits her mother's ex-employers with investing in her schooling, and she is doing the same for a neighborhood youngster in need of a mentor.
Being an aspiring teacher myself, I understand the importance of a child being in school. There's so many things that they can learn from a school environment that could actually help them later in life. So to have actually seen a child that could definitely have like the most brightest future not go to school really broke my heart, and I felt that I have the power. What I did is I went to his parents, I spoke to them, and then I told them that, listen, I am willing, just give me the permission and I'll take it from here. And that's exactly what I did. I was a bit worried because the school term had already begun, but I went to the school and yeah, it was a success. So I wish him all the best and I love him with all my heart.
I see Ludina in future as the next Miss South Africa. That's what I said. She's very good. And I know she can do it with us encouraging her and telling her. She'll do it. She's going to be the next Miss SA.
Few would bet against Mrs. Gwenya's prediction. It became obvious the day that Ludina won a high school pageant, cementing her love for the stage and ultimately bringing her and designer Nadine Marks together.
I absolutely love this dress. It has always been a winning dress for me. So from the first time that I actually saw it, I was like, that's the dress that I want to wear for Miss Soweto. And here it is, golden, and got the title.
Well, the process with working with Ludina was so nice. She is such a friendly and full of life person. And the dress that we chose for her is this golden dress, you know, beautiful color gold for richness and the winner. And then it's got beautiful lace detail, as you can see, 3D flowers with some diamantes inside to enhance it. And then a beautiful gold belt to accentuate her waist, and then a gold shimmer skirt fabric there, and then the slit. And then we've got some ruching on the slit to create a beautiful fuller figure. And then the shoulder detail as well, a nice high neckline to show off her beautiful long neck. And then at the back you can turn. Then we've got a beautiful open back to show her figure there, and just a little tie, to hold it all together.
Surviving hot water burns to her arms as a toddler, today she wears the scars as a badge of honor.
So while I was at school, my scars were actually perceived as very ugly. I got so many comments from my peers that made me so uncomfortable, to a point where I only wore a jersey when I was at school because I was so uncomfortable. So when I realized that I really wanted to do this modeling thing, I decided to be the representation that I still wanted to see instead of searching for it, because sometimes it's not about searching for representation, but actually being the representation that you want to see. And that's what motivated me to enter Miss Soweto, was to stand up not only for the younger me, but for other people who also feel the same way. And to date, I absolutely love my scars. They're like the feature that I would love to highlight most. It's so nice to know that something that made you feel so uncomfortable can be one of your best assets once you accept it. And once you realize that you don't need to be like everybody else. We all have a story. And my story, I don't always have to speak it. It's written on me. It's something that I carry with pride, something that I love, and something that I would love other people to also love about themselves if there's something that they would like to change.
It's already changing how children view those with any kind of difference.
My advice to young girls is to be yourself. Put yourself out there. Take each and every opportunity that aligns with your brand, and don't be afraid to be yourself. Thank you so much, Nadine, for having us. I had so much fun. It is always lovely to be here. I always get to look absolutely stunning.
It was so nice having you here again and looking beautiful in all my clothes. It was so much fun. Thanks.
Thank you.
It was on these streets that those in shops or taxi ranks saw Ludina's potential, including her friend Mpho Mosweu.
I met Ludina here in Middleland Street. We were playing like sports and Makusha. So from a long time ago, she was like a princess, very Mustard. She will always wear lipstick. That's how I know her. And I'm also proud of her because she showed us Middlelands has a potential, like queens. We do have queens like her.
This is a true Sowetan meal. I mean, it does not get any better than this. The chicken tastes amazing, frame grilled. I love the salads here. We have some coleslaw, a bit of salsa, and some lettuce. It literally is the best meal that you can ever order in Soweto that I absolutely love, and it has my favorite, chicken.
To be eaten with your fingers. Miss Soweto does not put on any airs or graces. She simply projects self-confidence.
What makes me feel empowered is being myself. Lovely, bubbly, loud, energetic, and also not just empowering myself, but also using the opportunities that I get to empower other people. Now that is true empowerment for me. I'm definitely planning on finishing my degree. That's like top on my priority list, and hopefully enter Miss South Africa. No, actually I will.
At school, Ludina was a fine long-distance runner. She's halfway to winning the big one now and must be a favorite to go all the way. Still to come, teenage artist Clayton Buettas turns his autism into super color, quite fantastic works of art.
Sponsored by Capitec. Simplify banking. Live better.
Cork Bay and colourful self-expression have long gone hand in hand. A new star of this creative community is 14-year-old self-taught artist Clayton Buettas. His work has launched a thriving business and given insight into what it is to live with autism.
My name is Clayton and I'm a young autistic artist. When COVID first hit, I was still in school, but because autistic people want structure to their day-to-day life, it was an issue for me coping in school, and sometimes school during the week would be closed. So my mom took me out and I started doing drawings. My earlier art piece was just fan art, doing artworks based off different pop culture characters, and I would sometimes just do original artworks. But the thing I really got into was doodling, doing styles of mashing up different types of characters to make doodles. So that was what I really liked to do back then. Usually I don't really think about using the color, I just go on the canvas and start adding color, but I most prefer using bright or different colors. Like for a background, I like using different tones of green to make it pop out more and more detailed.
If he was bullied at school for being different, this artwork has been a spectacular answer, making his mother, Antoinette Buettas, fiercely proud.
Clayton was diagnosed with autism at the age of 6. Part of being autistic is that you have sensory issues, how close feel on you, certain textures of food. And also the big thing for Clayton was he didn't want to be touched. So slowly but surely every now and again I'll just sit with him and slowly touch him and softly touch him so that he can learn how to deal with all these sensory issues with emotions. Emotions is also a big thing. And through the process I taught him how to cope with certain situations, how to accept what he can't do and concentrate on what he can do. And that is what got Clayton so far in life, because he loves drawing, he loves art, he loves what he's doing. Clayton's world is colourful. Clayton's created his own world with colour and all this beautiful art. And this child has brought so much love and happiness and just seeing life in such a different way into my life.
From posters, the young master has turned his hand to launching a clothing brand and a popping range of bed linen, all from Mission Control here at home.
So this is my studio. This is where I usually do my drawings, and sometimes I like to do on my iPad, but where I really like to do is my PC, because it has an RTX chip, meaning I can run 3D modeling softwares and be able to create 3D models with very high-end graphics, and I usually do most of my drawings in Illustrator nowadays, but I'm still trying to understand how the whole program works. So this artwork I've done a while ago. It's a skateboard deck, hand painted. What I usually use are acrylic paint markers because they're very versatile and they can go into any surface. And right over here is an action figure I made myself and painted it. Right over here is another painting I've done on a big piece of wood. And what's really nice about the studio is I have traditional art supplies and digital, so I'm able to work with both different mediums and create some very nice artworks.
When Antoinette first shared Claydens' work on social media 18 months ago, its commercial potential became clear. And as a long-time Capitec customer, easy digital business banking was covered, helping the business to grow.
What drives me is the vision I've got for Clayton to be successful one day, to have his own brand, to be self-sufficient, to maybe employ people and to help other kids, other mums, to create work opportunities. The best thing about working from home is being able to spend time with Clayton, attend to his needs. Also with the business, Capitec helps me a lot because I can receive payments online, I can do payments to my suppliers online. So it just really helps a lot to work from home, to have the app, to have the internet banking, because I can literally do everything from home, from my computer, send money, receive money, pay people and get paid. My favorite online feature is the fact that my personal bank account and my business account is linked. So I can transfer money from one account to another within seconds.
Clayton expresses himself so well that the public identified with his work immediately. Exhibiting at a gallery like this is only a matter of time.
As an autistic child, Clayton already achieved so much in life. Just by allowing him to live out his dream, his creativity, and to do what makes him feel good and important is really a good thing for him. You know, it's important that autistic children and parents understand that autism isn't a sentence, it's just a diagnosis.
I'm really grateful that I'm able to have this opportunity of becoming an artist and to express myself through my art and to support people with autism just like me. That's what I'm really excited for in the future and what I'm really grateful about.
Life with Claydens' condition is widely known as living on the spectrum for the sheer range of challenges associated with it. Drawing inspiration from the quirks and character of his hometown, he is bringing a new meaning to that spectrum as one of infinite color, depth, insight, fun, humanity, and humor. If Capitec can play any part in making that happen, it's a source of great pride.
Get more of the Insider SA online. Follow, connect, engage, and be inspired to live better with the Insider SA. Watch the show Monday evenings at 5:30. Repeat Saturday at 1 on S3.